traders, Cousin Vinny coming to you from theclosingprint.com, May the 9th, 2021. In this edition of your weekend video newsletter, we'll discuss the indices, all of which moved higher with the exception of the Nasdaq, the London Stock Exchange, and the Hang Seng. The tech stocks we follow were mixed with the exception of a rally in Microsoft, Intel, Cisco as the standouts, while sectors continue to improve and the international markets looking a little bit better as well, thanks to this weakness in the US dollar. 17 of our indicators are bullish. We have 1 neutral and 2 that are bearish. Additionally, we see quite a few stocks on the IBD 50 that look pretty good this week. Stocks that funds are buying and those with rising profit estimates in white and green, respectively. Stocks from the Blue Dot Scan in cyan, and CanSlim candidates, which look pretty good, in addition to some stocks on the scans and from the Bollinger Bands in lilac. Volkowski has 4 of 5 green with his CPI signal at 96.9%. That's bullish, with 1 bearish pattern, 31 bullish patterns, and 176 patterns waiting for breakout. The range this week is 4,200 to 4,250 on S&P futures, 420 to 425 on the spiders. We did note that VIX closed on a gravestone doji, leading to lower volatility and tighter ranges for this week if that doesn't change. The spiders managed a nice breakout on Friday, a 4-week range. RSI remains above 50, showing the strength of the trend persists, with that breakout coming on a weak jobs report, which many people initially found confusing. However, the thinking appears to be that a weaker employment number reduces the pressure on the Fed to hike interest rates anytime soon, and will postpone any move to cut back on bond purchases, which could push yields sharply higher. The latter point may also explain why there was buying in technology shares. The bond yields initially fell on the jobs report, but since rebounded towards the close. IWM also looked a little better on Friday, with a 14-week range still containing price action. We are starting to lift above the 921 and 50-day as of last week, with all of the small cap sectors moving higher, 8 out of 9 with the exception of technology, PSCT, which was initially lower for the week and bouncing on Friday. And considering the performance in the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Russell 2000, growth still has yet to confirm as the ratio between growth and value is dropping. We do see growth back above the 21-day. However, value vastly outperformed last week, so we'll be focused on the energy sector, industrials, financials, and materials as they lead into the second full week of trading in the month of May. All things considered, a lot of stocks broke higher last week. In addition to the 75 stocks we commonly see in institutions' core portfolios, the XII ARCA Institutional Index is showing tight Bollinger Bands and green elder sticks, suggesting that we might see a follow-through and a breakout this week as stochastic RSI continues to rise. In addition to the broader market, in this case the S&P 1500 composite, S&P 500 big caps, 400 mid caps, 600 small caps continue on this bullish trajectory, with the high-low percent in the lower panel showing a taller peak, as the index also shows a tight Bollinger Bands expanding scenario, suggesting more upside rather than weakness. Additionally, breadth had been improving. As I had previously mentioned, a lot of stocks broke out last week. If we break down these 1,500 stocks into their separate components, we can see all 3 groups Large caps, mid caps, small caps finished on a higher high as more stocks advanced than declined on a percentage basis, cumulatively speaking. In addition, if we zoom out to a larger or broader index like the Wilshire 5000, we can see that we've bounced and starting to move higher. Copac is starting to turn. The cycle is starting to get more bullish. In addition to that, seen on the weekly time frame with RSI remaining above the 70 level showing muscle, even after the Wilshire has climbed more than 100% from the March 2020 lows, and the cycle appears to be turning again. In addition, we start off the week with a green signal on VIX. We look for higher highs and higher lows when this signal is green. On this 60-minute time frame, with the VIX closing on a gravestone doji on the daily, suggesting lower volatility and a tighter range for this week, with the S&P 500 futures 4,200 to 4,250 as the range, going into May OPEX in 2 weeks. With the one caveat being the front month to the 3 months suggesting that we're close to a short-term top, with an additional caveat in the NIMO, the McClellan Oscillator, 2,700 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, taking a little bit of a breather. Finally, breaking down those stocks and looking at new highs minus new lows, and advancing versus declining in the lower panel. The upper panel suggests that we had 176 more new highs than new lows, almost a 50% increase over Thursday's price action into Friday's peak. In addition, New York Stock Exchange advanced decline made a new high, and the indices also closing on strength. The bond stock ratio remains bullish for equities as the ratio, the red line, drops. The moving average is rolling over. 65 period on the weekly, like it did back in 2017, leading to a bullish run in the markets. Despite what people were looking for, the markets continued to show strength as we trade at all-time highs going into this week. Additional indicators which suggest risk on, junk bonds and high yield corporate debt also moving higher as the Fed keeps rates low. Interest-seeking investors will go after junk bonds and high yield corporate for their value over treasury yields. That said, we did see inflation-protected bond ETFs like the TIP continue to move higher, suggesting there is some hedging going on in the background, as we have positions in Schwab's aggregate bond ETF continuing along a trend in a bullish direction. The position being a hedge as we trade at all-time highs, which would offer a cushion if the markets pull back in the short term, with the same reflected in the 20-year Treasury bond and LQD, investment grade corporate bonds. That said, after seeing equities oscillating along with bonds after the jobs report, the US dollar continued to move lower. So that's putting something of a tailwind into international indices and ETFs. So watch for some follow through there. Most notably in action that we saw in a position we have in the Brazil ETF, which gapped up 3 times last week. With the weakness in the US dollar, commodities, of course, moved a bit higher. We had copper and gold both moving higher. So the ratio continued to thrust higher as well, with both copper and gold finishing near highs of the week, thanks to dollar weakness, with the Kirby that we pointed out previously, the yellow shaded area, playing out, tagging the area that we had as resistance several weeks ago, moving just slightly above it on Friday. Strength also came in the crude oil patch, so This is positively correlated to equities as well as the US dollar moves lower. Brent, gold, copper, silver all moving higher. Commodities improving and bullish, with the CRB index breaking out of a 13-year downtrend over the last 2 months. In addition to the strength that we're seeing in transports, namely the Baltic Dry Index, major bulk shipping has seen breakouts of multiple year range bound action, suggesting a synchronized global recovery underway and something we should keep in mind as a tailwind going forward. The S&P 500 sectors looked pretty good. We're looking for a bounce in biotechs, though most of our focus this week is going to be on materials, energy, financials, and industrials, while we keep an eye on technology for follow-through bounce. Additionally, the ratio between consumer discretionary and consumer staples suggests follow-through. There doesn't seem to be a major concern about the markets at the present time as this continues to rise, and looking nothing like the major top we saw in 2007 or the pullback that we saw in late 2018 due to tightening by the Fed, or the rollover we had in February of 2020 that saw the markets move lower. Stocks from the IBD 50 that they're watching the last stocks from the IBD 50 that we're watching this week continue to move higher. We'd like to see ASML and stocks from the semiconductor group follow through as well. Though what we're looking for are stocks that finished on a high note above VWAP, as we can see with Caesars, which has a nice trend. Looks like it's going to break out of this base. We're looking for stocks from the semiconductor group like ASML to follow through this week. Volume started to pick up, MACD's turning, stochastics rising, and RSI's above 50. Banks look good. Following through, looking for breakouts. Volume increasing, showing institutions have been picking up shares, RSI's rising. ATKR trending, looking for a follow through, volume increasing, MACD's above its signal line. Avery Dennison following through, volume increasing, trending. B. Riley Financial, along with the XLF and the financial sector, looking for the breakout. MACD's turning, RSI's rising, stochastics is pointing to a bullish follow through. Blackstone Group looks good. Nice little flat base at the highs, a range, breaking out, looking for a follow through this week as a potential trade. BCO Brinks looking for a breakout. Builders First Source last week acquiring another company. Price action looks like it's going to follow through. Wicks at the lows of these candles suggests that buyers stepped up at the low of the day. Watch for a follow through. Got to see it first. Volume picked up on Thursday and Friday. Caesars looking for a follow through. CDNA looking for a follow through as well. A break above 81, 82. Volume increasing. Would like to see that continue this week. RSI's rising. I like these pullbacks to the 921 or 50 day. A follow through day on Monday would suggest that the buyers like the dip and continue to buy above this area of resistance or supply. Some real estate, REITs, and Century Community and stocks like Century Communities continues to push higher, looking for a follow through on strength in the retail, on strength in the real estate sector. Stocks like Charles Schwab looks like they're going to break out as well. Nice tight range for 7 trading days. Cleveland Cliffs looking for a breakout and a follow through with the steel stocks outperforming last week. with Nucor trading at the highs of the week. D.R. Horton and builders look very strong with copper rising. That's a leading economic indicator, as you know. Look for strength in the builders and construction group. Value outperforming Caterpillar, John Deere, 3M. Many of the industrials look good. Looking for a range breakout and a continuation this week. Volume picking up last week. Thursday and Friday, MACD crossed. Looking for continuation. Integris, buyers at the 50-day, pushing back above the 9 and 21-day. Looking for a follow-through this week. Volume picked up. MACD's turning. Stochastics is rising. Evercore Partners looking for a breakout. Nice trend. Continuation at a minimum. Volume showing institutions have been picking up shares. MACD's above its signal line. And Stochastics is rising. Floor & Decor, another construction-related name, should continue to push higher. Watch the wicks on all of these candles. Looking for a push and a move above 120 or so in the short term. Generac Generators looking for a push as well. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, FNC, PNC. A lot of the banks look very strong. Looking for a follow-through. Wells Fargo as well. Citigroup. Volume picking up. HubSpot post-earnings looking for a bounce and a follow-through back above the 9 and 21-day. I'd be interested in a position after earnings. Presently on day 9. Looking for a push above the 9 and 21-day with RSI rising as a function of price. Jabil, JBL, looking for a nice follow-through. Nice bounce at the 50-day continuation. Volume picking up on Thursday and Friday. MACD's about to cross. Jefferies, along with B. Riley and other asset managers, continues their bullish trends. Volume picking up, showing institutions have been picking up shares. KKR, looking for a push, trading at 52-week highs. LGI Homes, looking for a follow-through here. Builder, continuation along with D.R. Horton, Toll Brothers, Beazer Homes, and others, looking very bullish. MDC Holdings, looking for this to continue higher off of the 50-day, back above the 9 and 21-day. MarineMax, seller of used and new boating and equipment. Playboy pulled back to the 21-day, looking for a bounce. Pool Corp continues to trend, following through. SIVB Financial, this one looks like it's going to pull away from the 9 and 21-day. About to break out, volume picking up. Stillwater, SBSW, looking for the follow-through. Volume picking up, showing institutions were buyers on Thursday and Friday. Strength in copper being noted. SCCO should continue as well. Looking for silver and gold. Stocks also move higher this week. Stifel looking for a bounce. West Fraser Timber Company, along with Louisiana Pacific, Boise Cascade, Weyerhaeuser, Lumber Liquidators, anything related to lumber, moving higher on price inflation. And Zebra Technologies looking for a break back above the 9 and 21-day. 3 hammers last week. Needs to get above this volume by price band resistance, but once it does, look for an attack of recent highs above 518. In addition, IBD published a lot of stocks that were showing rising profit estimates. We're looking for follow-throughs here as well. AGCO, Boise Cascade, BC, Dick's Sporting Goods, RH, RVLV, and WASM. All of these look good. In addition, there were a lot of stocks from the Bollinger Band scan that showed up on the list. Those are all in lilac, light purple color at the bottom of the list. All of these look pretty good. Very tight bands, looking for expansion and follow through. Aqua, AQUA, Yamana Gold. A lot of the gold stocks will most likely follow through. Avalon Bay, REITs. Okay. There are so many stocks on the watch lists. IBD 50, stocks funds are buying. Stocks with rising profit estimates, the Blue Dot Scan, CanSlim, ATR rising, the scans, and those scans with Bollinger Bands expanding. with most of them coming from the sectors that should continue to perform this week: industrials, materials, financials, and energy. So I just wanted to mention as a side note that if you wanted to take this entire list of stocks that I present in the watch list every week, wait for the watch list to come out, then go to your stock charts account, click on create new list, and then open the watch list, select the leftmost column, copy that column to your clipboard, then open the new stock charts list, click on many, and then add all the stocks to the list, and then just put commas between each of the symbol. Click on done, and voila, you have your own watch list that you can sort and look for relative strength during the trading week. So that's going to do it for me. It's Cousin Vinny coming to you from theclosingprint.com. Sunday, the 9th of May. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there with children. Make that person feel special today. I'll send out a watch list later tonight around 11:30, 12 o'clock on the East Coast, 8:30, 9 o'clock on the West Coast. So be sure to look for your inbox for that. Otherwise, enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you soon.